My name is Savannah Cole, and I was 32 when my daughter stopped being a child in my arms. At the school carnival, music played too loudly, parents laughed too easily, and my daughter, Lily, kept staring at the ground like it might open and swallow her. Then she tugged my jacket. "Mom, can we go home?" Her voice was so small I didn't ask why. I just took her hand and walked past the cotton candy stand, past the principal's shaking hands near the raffle table, past Mr. Harrison smiling like the safest man in the building. At my truck, Lily climbed inside, then froze. "Mom," she whispered, "don't be mad." She lifted her sweater. Dark purple bruises covered her ribs, blooming under her skin like someone had pressed anger into her body. My hands went numb. "Who did this?" Tears slid down her face. "Mr. Harrison." I buckled her seatbelt because if I touched her too much, I might fall apart. I drove straight to the hospital. 4 hours later, my husband came home early. And the first thing he said was, "Savannah, don't call the police." His words hit harder than anything I had seen beneath Lily's sweater. I stared at my husband, Ethan, waiting for the explanation that would make those impossible words disappear. Instead, he closed the front door quietly and rubbed both hands across his face. "Please," he said, barely breathing. "You don't understand what you're walking into." I felt something cold settle inside me. "My daughter was assaulted," I answered. "Explain why you're protecting him." "I'm not protecting him." "Then start talking." Ethan looked toward the hallway, making sure Lily couldn't hear us. "Mr. Harrison called me before the hospital did." Every muscle in my body tightened. He said Lily made up the story because she was afraid of getting in trouble. I laughed once, bitterly. "So you believed him instead of your own child?" His eyes filled with shame.
No.
"I believed what I found after his call." He reached into his briefcase and placed a thick envelope on the kitchen table. Inside were photographs, not of Lily, of Ethan meeting privately with Mr. Harrison months earlier. Then I noticed another picture beneath them. Someone had secretly photographed me leaving work. My husband whispered, "Savannah, this didn't start with Lily." My heart pounded as I spread the photographs across the table. Every image carried a date, each taken long before Lily ever mentioned Mr. Harrison. Someone had watched our family carefully, patiently, deliberately. Ethan swallowed hard. I met him because he claimed someone was threatening the school and parents were being investigated. "Why didn't you tell me?" He made everything sound confidential. I wanted to scream, but Lily was sleeping upstairs after the examination. The emergency room doctor had quietly confirmed the bruises were consistent with forceful grabbing. That sentence kept echoing. My phone vibrated. An unknown number. I answered. Silence lingered until a calm male voice spoke. "Stop asking questions, Mrs. Cole, unless you want your daughter blamed instead." The line disconnected. Ethan turned completely pale. I looked toward the staircase, where Lily's bedroom door remained closed. Fear finally outweighed confusion. This was never one man's secret. Someone else was protecting him, and they already knew exactly where we lived. I locked every door before pulling the curtains. Ethan whispered, "There's one more thing." He handed me Lily's backpack. Hidden inside was a folded note. "You're next, Mom." My knees finally gave out beneath me, that terrifying silent warning alone. I clutched the note until the paper crumpled in my fist. Someone wanted me terrified. It worked for exactly 3 seconds. Then fear turned into something colder. Resolve. I called the detective assigned to Lily's case and asked one question. "Can you meet me somewhere Mr. Harrison won't expect?" He agreed, without hesitation. Ethan drove while I sat beside Lily in the back seat, holding her hand every mile. She never let go of mine. At a quiet conference room inside the County Child Advocacy Center, Detective Alvarez studied the note, the photographs, and Lily's medical report without interrupting. When he finally looked up, his expression had changed. "This isn't the first complaint involving Harrison." The room fell silent. "What happened to the others?" I asked. "They all disappeared before formal interviews. Families withdrew statements. Some moved away." Lily squeezed my fingers. "I don't want to disappear." "You won't," I promised. Detective Alvarez slid a thin folder across the table. Inside were 3 children's drawings. Each showed the same office, the same bookshelf, the same red coffee mug on the principal's desk. Lily gasped. She pointed to the pictures with a trembling finger. That's where he took me. Then Detective Alvarez quietly revealed the detail that changed everything. Mr. Harrison wasn't acting alone. One trusted staff member had always been waiting outside that office door. The air left my lungs before I could speak. Who? I asked. Detective Alvarez hesitated only long enough to choose his words carefully. We're not naming anyone until we have evidence strong enough to protect every child involved. I respected that. Lily deserved justice, not another mistake. He explained that each report followed the same pattern. A child disclosed abuse. Parents received anonymous pressure. Witnesses changed stories. Investigations collapsed before reaching court. Someone inside the school always knew what families feared most. Ethan leaned forward. So they've been controlling people. Alvarez nodded. They're organized. Lily quietly reached into her pocket. I forgot something. She unfolded a tiny friendship bracelet with faded blue beads. He made me leave this on his desk. The detective's eyes narrowed. May I? She handed it over. He examined the clasp without touching the beads directly. Then he smiled for the first time. This may contain fingerprints or DNA. Hope returned so unexpectedly, it almost hurt. Before we left, Alvarez assigned an officer outside our home and instructed us not to answer unknown calls. That evening, another message arrived. Not from an unknown number. It came from the school's official parent portal. The sender's name displayed on my screen froze my blood. Assistant Principal Rebecca Lawson requested an urgent private meeting with me alone. I stared at the message until the screen dimmed. Rebecca Lawson had copied no one. No counselor. No district official. Just me. Detective Alvarez answered on the second ring. Don't respond, he said. Forward everything. I did. Within minutes, he called back. That message wasn't sent through the normal system. Someone accessed the account after school hours. So, it's a trap. Most likely. Ethan wanted us to leave town that night, but Alvarez asked us to stay available. The bracelet had already been rushed to the crime lab, and detectives were preparing search warrants. Lily sat quietly at the kitchen table drawing with colored pencils. When I asked what she was making, she turned the page toward me. It was Mr. Harrison's office. Every detail matched the other children's drawings. Then she pointed beneath the desk. I never told anyone about this. Hidden there was a small black box with a blinking red light. A camera? Ethan whispered. Lily nodded. He said nobody would believe me because he recorded everything. The room went silent. If that camera still existed, it could expose the truth, or destroy countless innocent children forever. Detective Alvarez's voice came through my phone again. We're moving tonight. Then he added the words that made my heart stop. Harrison just disappeared before officers reached his house. I couldn't breathe as Detective Alvarez turned each page. Someone had documented where I worked, where Lily practiced soccer, where Ethan bought groceries, even which mornings I stopped for coffee. We had never been random victims. We had been selected. The final report connected every missing piece. Mr. Harrison targeted children whose parents were considered predictable, private, and unlikely to challenge authority. When families resisted, trusted adults inside the school spread doubt, isolated them, and quietly buried complaints before they reached prosecutors. The flash drives confirmed everything. The hidden camera had recorded Harrison, not the children. He believed the footage protected him from false accusations. Instead, it preserved years of crimes and exposed every accomplice who entered that office. Rebecca Lawson was arrested before sunrise. Several staff members followed. Other families finally stepped forward after learning they weren't alone. Months later, Lily testified with remarkable courage, holding my hand until the judge thanked her for telling the truth. Walking out of the courthouse, she looked up at me and smiled for the first time since the carnival. We're safe now, Mom. I smiled through tears. They never took your voice. Justice didn't erase our scars, but it returned something far more valuable. Our future.